that means Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network. Woodward Sports.
The intro says it all. It is the best sports talk network.
Let's go.
And we are joined. We are one of the key cogs to what Woodward Sports is. You know what he is. He's on the social. He has his own show. You're familiar with him if you get up in the morning, 8 to 10 space, if you will. He is a diehard every sport here in Detroit. But when it comes to Pistons basketball, I think that is the one that has his heart. Brother, it is an honor to be sharing the stage with you today. And we will be sharing. We will be going back and forth, man. Your show is my show. My show is yours. Yes, Brandon Kool-aid Dent. It's good to see you, brother.
Hey, it's good to see you. I know that.
Good to be seen. Good to be seen.
Starting off as a personality, this show had a whole lot to do with it, man. And you guys continue to show all the love, continue to mentor. So it's an honor for me to be here today with you, with the rest of the crew, with some of the guys I love most, man. Looking around, that's all of Woodward Sports, but that's what it really is, man. It's one big family, and to be back here with E&E. Talk some sports.
Yeah, back then it used to be called The Bottom Line. That's how long ago it was. And in that very chair that Maz now sits, we used to innovate Kool-Aid. But Maz is in the chair, and it has evolved to the $15,000 massage chair of all massage chairs with the man himself, Tom Mazaway. How you doing, brother?
Hey, guys. Great to have Kool-Aid with us today. We'll have some fun. A lot of good basketball to talk about. And I'm not just talking about the finals either. There's some great news out there. Tigers underway in the rain. Skubal 23 pitches deep already in the first inning, but he did get out with a goose egg.
Ooh, that is
we'll keep you posted, guys. Keep it right here.
That is, and you mentioned it. There is a lot, as we said hello to Ricky as well as Pete. There's a lot on the floor today. An amazing sell of the Los Angeles Lakers, a record number. We'll get into that. Obviously, Tigers are playing right now. Skubal's on the mound. For how much longer, we don't know. Paul Skeens will go tonight. 5:40 game probably will be pushed back. We'll get into that, and we also have some sound from the Detroit Lions. I know you guys have been starving for some Lions sound. Well, we got Lions talk and Lions sound. But before we get into that, two things are important. One, did you guys happen to know that there was a tornado last night in the Macomb County area that led to all of the rain and weather yesterday and all of the overlap that you're seeing today? This is this right here. This is footage from
Ahmad Baji.
Oh yeah, Muhammad Baji. This is yesterday. This is from his camera.
That's somewhere in Kansas?
No, sir. This is here. This isn't Tornado Alley, which is Oklahoma and Kansas and Missouri and parts of Texas. Wow. No, this is right here down the street. This right here is probably 28 minutes away from here, and this happened last night. So I wanted to ask you, because I know we have a lot of people all over the state, especially in the Macomb area, the Wayne County area, etc. Is everybody out there all right? Comment on what happened to you. Did you lose power? Is everything all right? Are you still out of power? I know I had some people that got into some car accidents that I know because of it. So we want to make sure that everybody is doing okay. Crazy.
That's
tornado.
Crazy, bro. I know we were talking about it a little bit before the show, and I was like, I told Wifey yesterday, whenever we see weather
Shout out to Wifey.
There is a tornado somewhere, but I didn't actually know that there was a tornado. To see that, that's more than like what we hear when they say, oh, a tornado touched down. We saw the funnel cloud. Bro, that was a full-scale tornado. Now I'm sitting here wondering, like, is everybody okay?
Man, usually when they say that a tornado has touched down, like Kool-Aid said, hey, you're like, they BSing. This wasn't a tornado. They're just trying to hype us up. No, that really was a tornado, man. When's the last time you seen something like that?
Not for a while. As a matter of fact, Ryan said yesterday, once it's a tornado warning we usually get, that means it's just, it might come. Yeah. Tornado watch means it's hit the ground, and that's what it did in my county, Macomb County. It was a little bit further up from me, but lights out on Jefferson and St. Clair Shores for a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, usually when we get those tornado warnings, we should, like, close the windows, get away from the windows. But we'll, like,
no
actually
proof.
go outside.
Hey,
look around.
I'm from the Show Me State.
A little green.
I'm from the Show Me State. You got to show us. You have to show me.
Last year, not too far from my house in Livonia, there was a storm came, and they didn't put the tornado signals out. And the tornado touched down, and a kid and a mom actually ended up passing in their house. Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
That's wild, man. It does happen outside the Tornado Alley. All right, this begs me to bring up a question. If you got stuck in a natural disaster, is what a tornado is, and which it's referenced by, which one would it be? You got to pick one. Would it be an earthquake? Would it be a tornado? Or will it be a tsunami?
Oh,
hurricane.
Tsunamis are dangerous,
Hur-
man.
I guess tsunami and hurricane kind of go hand in
Tsunami
hand.
is
So
dangerous.
hurricane.
Oh.
So hurricane, earthquake, or tornado.
I'm not built for any of those, man.
This
Right.
is true, but you got to pick one. It's just like the movie. This is your movie featuring Brandon Dent, and you got to be the hero in this movie. Which natural disaster are you defending this city from?
Oh man, I gotta say earthquake, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I gotta say earthquake. For
Yeah.
some reason,
You want
tornadoes
stuff falling on you? You want buildings falling on you?
But tornadoes one where I just keep seeing. Look, I'm the hero.
Yeah.
I'm driving up, trying to make sure I can do something to help the people, and then whoop, there goes Brandon's truck.
Like, it's the water for me. I don't want to mess
Like
with the
Twister?
water. Because
Yeah.
an earthquake, you might
You know
be in
what?
a stable building, but I don't want to mess with the water. The water is what bothers
I
me.
feel like Twister from my childhood, bro. I think that's what's
It
kind of
scares
messing me
you.
up right now.
Sam, what's his name? Sam Neill or Sam? Can't think his name for Jurassic Park. What about you, Ricky Mike? You on the clock?
Yeah, nah, definitely the earthquake because the water and the tsunamis and
I'm not dealing with the
blowing.
water, bro.
I can't do that. With an earthquake, you might be in the right spot. Everything shake, everything fall around you, but you be good in like a what they say the door jams and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But the hurricanes and all that, I'm not messing with that water, man.
All right, Maz. Which way are you choosing to go? I mean, survive.
Oh
Which natural disaster?
I think I'll run from a hurricane.
Okay,
I'll run from a hurricane or a tornado. I'll try to find the best spot. But I wanted to ask you, what would you take from your house if you know the house ain't going to be there anymore?
My family.
What would you take besides the family? Like, are you taking your?
I hope that's
Are you
first.
taking your?
Like, I hope that
Hey.
comes
Hey,
first.
yo, Smash might grab a jersey.
I didn't.
I'm taking my helmets.
You taking the
I'm
helmet?
taking my helmets.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm not attached to stuff like that. Probably. I got some stuff in that safe that might pan out for me. You know what I'm saying? I might take some of that.
How about those jerseys
some
you
of
used
that
to wear?
AAU, if you're familiar with Ken.
How about your jerseys that you used to wear?
Nah.
They're hanging on the wall.
Yeah, all right. They can wash away.
I know.
The stories are still there. So are the records. Pete, what about you?
Well, it's an easy answer for me because I have been stuck in the middle of a tornado as a golf caddy. 1997, the famous tornadoes that hit Grosse Pointe Farms. This tornado that I was caught in the middle of while I was, of course, now
So you faced the tornado and you lived
and
to
I
tell
lived
the
to
And
tell
lived
the
to
story
tell the tale.
while in the middle, while on the 12th hole, which is the furthest hole possible at the Old Country Club of Detroit. This is in 1997. Of course, I'm at the furthest hole when the sirens go off. I have never seen a green rotating cloud before, ever in my life. That passed over my head, knocked us all on our keisters.
Seriously?
And like I was like blown over and all that stuff, and so we obviously ran for cover, and freaking like stuff started flying, you know, tree branches, limbs, things like that. We ran for cover, got to one of the covers that were available, one of the bathrooms that were available on the course. It was like in a hut, and we all huddled in the hut while this thing passed
Like the hut,
over
it
us.
looks
and that
like
thing,
outside. They look like bathrooms, but they're not. The
right,
hollow areas.
the
I know
little
what you're
hut,
talking
and
about.
that storm that passed overhead of us about 1 minute later killed a family of 4 who were
Oh, wow.
on Farms Pier. They were in the gazebo at Farms Pier. They just thought it was a regular thunderstorm. The storm picked up the gazebo and threw them, the family, into Lake St. Clair.
This
So
is
I've been
telling me
caught
to
in
stop
Everybody
taking this
didn't
stuff so
survive.
lightly.
Hey,
for real.
Mike Reed on the chat says he's keeping it. He's going to grab his family and his weed.
Hey, that's it. That's the answer.
all you need.
That is the answer. That's
You gotta
the,
be thinking.
my Nike bag. Hint, and the guy to grab the family.
I remember when I was younger, man, we used to do like the camp outs and the scouting
Yeah.
organizations and all that. We're up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, man.
What was you doing in Oshkosh, Wisconsin as a black man?
Camping, man.
What you-
If it
what
wasn't,
you-
if it
first
wasn't
of all-
survived that.
First of all,
the organization.
boy, you know your pants wrong. What you doing in Oshkosh as a black man? Speaking of that, we got after this story. Today is an interesting day, and I want you guys' opinion on
Nice
it.
segue, sir.
You feel me?
But no, I mean, you reminded me that I actually did face down a tornado at the young age of like 7, 8 years old. We were all out there at the campsites. It was like this international campsite,
Right.
and a tornado was coming straight for our campsite. It was already on the ground, not a
Yeah.
funnel. And we didn't know what was going to happen. We all went and took shelter, and the tornado did something that it doesn't do regularly.
Came
it
back.
can do it sometimes, but it actually split, and it went around the camp.
That's insane.
And about 2 or 3 miles down the road,
That's
it
insane.
came back together. And it was absolutely wild. Like, to this day, like, now that you said that, I was like, sheesh, I have faced it. Not necessarily, You actually felt the full brunt of it. But me, we at least were sitting there like, is it gonna hit? Is it gonna hit? And they were like, it's past us already. We were like, you know, for me, I'm a praying man. We said, praise God.
So this would be on my bucket list. Start the show that 2 of you have faced the tornado and another one passed right over his house. Jesus Christ! Like this is the tornado show all of a sudden.
God.
Sign me up for the tornado. Like the earthquake, I'm not trying to fall through the cracks and like Matt said, stuff falling and things shaking and moving. Hurricanes are impossible. Like hurricanes is the number one I think out of all of them. It's just my opinion. The tornado, I've seen one too many movies. I think I can beat it. I think I can beat it. I think I can get away from the tornado, and provide everybody with shelter. So sign me up for the tornado.
I'll take none, please.
Yeah, right. I'll take the beach.
I think that is the
gotta get
correct
that movie
answer.
done.
I've seen tsunamis like on video, and I don't think there's anything like that.
They
Yeah.
are dangerous.
Nothing.
Tsunamis and hurricanes kind of they go hand in hand.
The ocean just
Yeah.
engulfs
Right.
Golf, everything.
everything.
Takes everything
100%.
over.
That's why it's the scariest thing. Everybody's
is
talking about
so-
up top. I'm like, we still don't know what's underneath.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, 100%. But what we do
Water
know,
wins.
we may not know what's underneath, but we know that today is now Juneteenth. I think the holiday was started 2-3 years ago. It's supposed to be to represent black freedom, if you will, or an apology of the government. So we have our own holiday, and kudos to them, if you will. My question to you, as we have 3 brothers on the show, how do you feel about Juneteenth? And we don't have to make this elaborate conversation, but how do you feel about Juneteenth?
When I look at some of the other Independence Days that we celebrate here, especially, people they celebrate like Cinco de Mayo and such. I'm like, why not celebrate June 19th? And I believe that, sometimes some of the connotations associated with the history of this country, sometimes that can put a different cloud on it. But I believe with where we might be today, maybe we're at a better place to be able to celebrate what it means for our freedom rather than what we were being freed from. And, over the last couple of years, I know Madison Heights, they've done a Juneteenth celebration. I was part of the Chamber of Commerce and some such out there. And just kind of being around a lot of the people that were helping to make this thing possible, it was interesting to see the other communities out there, the other races out there being the ones to say, hey, you know what? We're actually ready to have this dialogue. We're actually ready to prop this up. We're actually ready to make you guys' freedom and independence and your contributions to this country something that we're not afraid to talk about and celebrate. And to me, at least that, with the people I've talked to and the people I worked with out in Madison Heights, because remember that's where our cheesecake store was too.
Right.
It was an awesome feeling to be able to get that response from them as it relates to Juneteenth.
Ricky.
Very well said.
That was extremely well said.
That was extremely. I was not ready for that.
You see, I just was like,
I was not ready for that.
I was like, wow. I said, that's a word, as they
I'm
say.
all for people celebrating whatever they want to celebrate.
Yeah.
I have no real issue with it. It's not something that's going to be big in my house. My only issue with it really is whenever you celebrate other holidays, there's protocols and things that go along with the celebration. I feel like Juneteenth was just something they just kind of gave us. No one really knows how to celebrate it. And people like, oh, we can go barbecue. Like, we do that for 4th of July, too. Like, it's, like Christmas, there's certain things you do in Christmas, certain things you do for Hanukkah, certain things you do for Yom Kippur.
That's a really
but, like,
good point.
with Juneteenth, it's just like, they just like, hey, happy Juneteenth. And then it just feels very capitalistic because then everybody has, like, Juneteenth sales. And it's just like, it's just stuff like that. It's just like, I feel like we should have been more together on how we should celebrate.
Because it feels like we're being sometimes given more rules of engagement rather than culture and tradition.
Yeah, something.
I actually get that.
There you go. There you go off, brother. Go
No,
off.
I actually
No,
get that.
it's-
I get that because you're like, we haven't been taught how to do it. I'm like,
No,
This-
not even taught. It's like, I was never asked. Like, how would you like to celebrate Juneteenth, Ricky?
right on that.
And this is where I am with Juneteenth. Like I in the initial start of it, I didn't like it. I thought that it would start. All holidays are propagandas. If you look at the calendar, the propagandist holidays, it's 12 months in a year. Those holidays are designed to keep the government afloat because it's money. St. Patrick's Day, they spend money. Valentine's Day, they spend money.
Yep, it's up to
Cinco
you
de
to
Mayo,
choose
they now
what
spend.
to
So that's what it's about. Start there, but that's fine. I didn't like what the holiday truly represents. It represents the fact that slaves down south did not know that they were free because slave owners down south weren't going to tell them that they were free. They couldn't read. They didn't know. They kept them in slavery. And so eventually, months later, they found out that they were free. And then they had to free them based off that. So you're celebrating them like basically saying, oh, it's okay, and keeping slavery going. So I didn't like it for that. I also didn't like it that when it started right after George Floyd. So now here we're going to give you a holiday, because all this is going on with George Floyd, and George Floyd picked up the type of momentum in which they had to do something about it. So I didn't like that either. That was then, this is now. However change takes form, or whatever is needed for change to happen, much like you said, I'm all for it. If this is a space in which you
want to
have conversation, you have dialogue, and yeah, it's not done the right way. They didn't launch it with the cultural understanding of this is how we're going to celebrate, to what Ricky is saying.
Yeah.
This is the guidelines. This is what we're going to lay out. We want to invite you and embrace you to the culture, because they didn't ask us what we think about the holiday. So there was nothing that we could contribute to that. With that being said, now we can. Now it's up to us. We have a holiday. Like, we have this representation, if you will. It's up to us to take the holiday that they gave us. And I think it can create a lot of great dialogue, a lot of great conversation. I think it can further relationships moving forward. Like, I'm in that good book now, man. That's how I look at things now. Like, I don't like how it started, but how things start aren't necessarily how they're going to finish.
I feel you.
How
The
they can
message
change
is to take ownership of it.
Yeah.
I feel like within our community, that's
Yeah.
something that we should do, especially within our responsibilities, within our traditions and our cultures. Especially since we have the opportunity to do so. You don't take advantage of the freedoms. Don't just let them be things that we just say. It shouldn't just be a barbecue day. It's like, you really got me thinking. I now I'm sitting here like, it should be more or less about a wealth of the education, a wealth of the knowledge, and
there's
wealth
no
of relationship.
there's no lead up to this day. With other holidays or with other cultural misgivings or spreading the cultures of others, there's lead ups like Cinco de Mayo. Like, you literally know it's coming. You start talking about it. They start prepping you on what the celebrations are. This is our culture. This is what we do here. This is what we do in this space. So by the time Cinco de Mayo comes, you're really not just drinking. You're really understanding their culture to a certain extent. We just got to get to that space. Maz, Rick, Pete, how y'all feeling over there, man? It's a little NAACP class for
I
y'all,
like
man?
this. No, I like
Hey,
this
man.
you
because
guys feel?
I'm an Abe Lincoln fan.
Oh.
Abe Lincoln is the reason for this holiday. Abe Lincoln is the reason
I see
that
you, Ricky.
he
Kinda.
undid that bad deed. That was a horrible thing that those people went through. Horrible.
Yeah.
And he made it right. And you know what? He paid for it with his life.
Yeah, John Wilkes Booth,
Yep.
failed actor, but not failed assassin, apparently.
Yep.
So, at the Ford Theater, if you will. But no, I felt it was key to just touch on that, man. This day does exist, and we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't touch on it for a second. Let us know how you feel in the comments and in chat on this. The only thing that I think about today is the happy Juneteenth. Like, I don't know, I don't know where I'm at with that. Like, is it happy Juneteenth, or is it just like, respect Juneteenth? Like, what is that?
That's it. When you breaking it down
That's
on
the
that
confusing
level,
part
They
about
should
it.
have had a black delegation meeting.
Man,
Hey.
for real, like Dave Chappelle.
Shut up,
Like,
Bob.
what's acceptable in this?
It's like
case?
when people say Happy Memorial Day. It's not a happy thing.
It's not.
It's a day of remembrance.
We had
and
that
that's what this
conversation
is.
in here.
This is a day of remembrance.
I think even beyond just the race aspect of it, I think it's highlighting, especially with what you're saying here with Memorial Day and Veterans Day, there are still people who don't know certain aspects of the differences between
they just
those
think
two.
they're off.
And
I
those
think
aren't
it's
new
more
days.
of an education thing. I think it is more of a tradition and a culture thing. I do think it's like you're saying, mixing with what both of you guys are saying. Like, with my perspective, it was about let's get to the dialogue, and I think it does feed into what you guys are saying. Where is the tradition? What is the culture? What does this mean to all of us? Because Cinco de Mayo, even though it's for a culture, it still means something to all of us.
And
even 4th of July, though it's for Americans, it means something internationally.
And side note, Cinco de Mayo isn't even when Mexico is free of independence. Now when they got their independence, it's for a totally different war, if you want to be honest.
Shout out
So
to
that's a
Chase.
misrepresentation.
Chase always lets me know it's in September.
100%. It's a
But all
misrepresentation.
holidays, they just pick a day and go.
Hey,
with
look, at the end of the day, look, hey, here. Yeah, y'all want this holiday or not?
it.
Y'all
But
want
it's
this holiday or
just
not?
like when your
Make
birthday-
something of it.
Hey, Irish people, y'all want this St. Patrick's Day or not? You know, what do you want to do?
But
You want
it's-
barbecue or meal do?
To me, it's just like when your birthday's on a Tuesday, but you celebrate it on Friday and Saturday.
Do you want the gifts or not?
You're right.
Do you want the birthday party or not?
right.
All right, speaking of birthday party, we'll put a pin in all the political things, man. Just want to talk about the holiday.
Happy
Let's-
Juneteenth, everybody.
100% happy Juneteenth. There we
What
are.
does that
Uncle
even
You know
Black
what?
Day today.
This
Let's
was
play some basketball tonight,
What
right?
does that even mean, Ricky?
I know what play basketball tonight means. There was a franchise
Definitely
in Los Angeles. A franchise in
On
Los
Juneteenth?
Angeles
What's that?
that just sold
18th,
for
actually.
you said what?
He's-
I thought it was. I thought it happened on Juneteenth.
You guys good? You guys good? You want me to get back on track?
My bad.
I'm messing with you guys. The Los Angeles Lakers and Jeannie Buss, they part ways. Jeannie Buss sells the squad to Mark Walter. Mark Walter of Guggenheim. What is it? Guggenheim? I looked it up too. Guggenheim Partners, and what that is a global investment of advisory firm and provides service through 2 primary businesses. I had to look that up to see how can he afford $10 million, $10.1 billion to be.
I just know he owns the Dodgers.
He owns the Dodgers.
Yeah.
He works for Guggenheim. He's the CEO. Like, that is a ton of money. Most ever. The Boston Celtics sold for $6 billion last year. That was the most. Now it is the Los Angeles Lakers. Shout out to Jeannie Buss. I feel like her father bought it for $67.5, and while the brothers were out goofing around and trying to figure out who they were as individuals, she stayed the course. She stayed right up under Dr. Buss, as we saw in Winning Time. Great show. Love that.
He actually bought him
Yeah.
for $16 million.
Yeah.
The $67 million includes the Lakers, the Kings, the Forum, and the mansion that Jack Kent Cook lived in. All 4 pieces that Jerry Buss bought. Dr. Jerry Buss bought it for $67 million, and his daughter sold it for $10 billion. Not including the Forum. Just a piece of the Lakers.
Wow.
Yeah,
And she's still the governor of the
Yep.
team.
100%.
She'll be the boss for a while.
She'll be the boss for the next 3 years. She'll run the team as Mark Walter figures out that successor in that process. This is what I got to say about this situation. L.A., Mark Walter, they're trying to change the tide. Like, L.A. is trying to be the place to be. The fires and the things that happened last year, I'm not trying to get into the political side of what happened with the fires, why the fires happened. I'm just saying, with all that dead space, here comes the new L.A. What comes to L.A. in 3 years? The Olympics. The Olympics come to L.A. The Dodgers are now owned by Mark Walter, who's going to put money into the Lakers. You know, Luke is going to have whatever he needs moving forward, and LeBron for another year or so. Like, L.A. is now becoming that destination place.
Yeah.
Like, where's New York at? Where's New York at?
You still got to pay a lot of tax in L.A. though.
This is true,
And
but
it takes a lot of money to live there, man. Only the rich and famous can go to L.A. and be successful.
But they burned it down. Now you got room to build and build it back up. That means you got an influx of people that are about to move back, just like they left and went to Texas and Florida and Montana and all those places around. They're gonna bring themselves right back.
And
the money is back up.
And I wonder how much of a, like a place it is that people want to visit anymore. Is it a spot? Is it that's what I'm saying, Ricky. Like, is LA a spot that you think when you're like, yo, I'm gonna go and take a trip? Because I feel like in recent years, especially when I was in college, Miami, South Beach became that spot. It became one of those spots. And in other places throughout the country, including in California itself, other places other than LA, Santa Rosa, Santa Monica, these became places, that I love to frequent a little bit more than LA because I do got family out in the area.
True.
But Santa Rosa was one of those spots that every time I got to California, a little bit north of San Fran, kind of enjoy being there a little bit more.
This is true, but I think LA is starting to understand what's coming in the years to come. This is the tech world. Like, we live in a tech world, and it's only going to get more and more and more the advancement of AI. Like, that space that they're building out there, it's going to be a tech-friendly place. It's going to be one that you want to go. The people of these kids now, fast forward, they want to be there. They don't want to be in Miami, congested, dirty beaches, dirty people, food's not necessarily that good. Not necessarily dirty people, my apologies. But dirty beaches, dirty food, and the same old thing that
You
people
don't like
have
the
been
beaches
doing.
in Florida?
But people have been doing the same thing in Miami since its inception.
It hasn't evolved.
In the 60s. Al Capone is still doing the same thing. So I think with LA, look at it, SoFi Stadium. That thing just looks like something on TV. This world that they're about to build on top of the ash of what happened last year, it's gonna be something that you're like, ooh, I want to go. Remember the first time you looked at Disney World back in the day, man? Like back in the day,
It was amazing.
And the Disney World Orlando opened up Epcot Center. That looked like something that you were like, I gotta be there. I don't know why. That's what LA is trying to do. But 2028, my girl went to Tokyo last year. You know, everybody talks about Tokyo. It's like living in the future. Like going over there and then coming back here, you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like we're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years behind. That's what LA is trying to get ahead of now for these Olympics. They are going to be the future city.
I thought California was going to fall into the ocean.
Isn't
that what they said?
It's still May. It's still May.
Until that happens,
the
it's still
90s.
Come on, man. It's going in the ocean, isn't it?
But man, until that happens,
still May.
it's still money to be made. You know how business goes here, and you're right. I think you're being a little bit modest when you say that we're like 7 to 8 years behind Japan. Bro, I went there over 30 years ago. My dad's job was a Japanese company, and 13 years of age, if you were like an executive's kid, they would let you go overseas. see the home family that owns the company, their land, their companies over there. I promise you, we're still behind Japan.
Yeah.
Like to this day, there were things that I saw there that they were doing that was like, is this even real life? Like it didn't feel real. It almost felt like we got into a plane and it was just a door to like some Disney exhibit, and we're still behind certain components of technology that they had then to this day. Like I remember going right outside the hotel room and being able to get like a full ramen dish made for me by a vending machine.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm dead serious.
No,
I was a kid. I was like,
seen that.
what in the world is this?
I've seen that
I
on
did it
YouTube.
like 3 times and spent up like all my money that my parents gave me.
I
for
wish
the
we
trip.
had one of those right here
Yes,
now.
yes.
I'd get one right now.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right,
You
it
talked
sounds
about
lit.
where Miami is now.
Yeah.
Maybe LA is going to be the reason why cities like Miami reinvent themselves, because it is
Damn
getting,
right.
it is getting tired.
100% here. Look, let's add some sports into this equation. $10 billion. Your owner is now Mark Walter. He still works with Magic Johnson. You see his hand. Magic Johnson stamped him years ago. His relationship with Mark Walter because of the Dodgers has allowed Magic to do some things in the sport of ownership. With that being said, what does this do for the Lakers? How can that $10 billion that he was kicked off by Mark Walter like it wasn't nothing, so his pockets are deep, what does that look like for the Los Angeles Lakers next year with Luka Doncic and LeBron James trying to figure out if they can coexist?
I don't even think this team cares about luxury tax. I don't
The
think
Dodgers don't.
and that's the thing. I believe that the Lakers are in an era right now where they realize they just got to be that deal every single year, and I believe that they're in a position to do that, and they have a ownership group that can benefit from this team being that way. You look at all the different business connections. You talk about what they're talking about, building up in LA, building up in these surrounding areas to try and build back a little bit better, bring some new technology. Well, how do you infuse all of that business? I think if you make LA the epicenter for everything, like it's been for some time, with a little bit of a refresh, I do believe the Lakers play a very, very pivotal role. That stadium plays a very pivotal role. You talk about beyond just, the basketball of it, talking about some of the best concerts in the world are going to be held right there too. And so if I am a business owner, if you look into it, we probably wind up seeing, this guy owns the stuff all around it. Like you look at Dan Gilbert out in Cleveland. It was vital for them to have the Cleveland Cavaliers winning while he was also like starting up new businesses and new communities all around, that area of Cleveland. So when I think about it from that standpoint, that $10 billion, you're going out there as it relates to the Lakers, and you just care about this team having an opportunity to win the championship every single year. And if you care more about the profits from the business than you do about the team, they're going to be in a position to do that. They don't have to care about anything else. They can just cut the checks and keep them moving.
Women in sports seem to be a little forward thinking, if you will. We have our own female owner here in Detroit, Sheila Hamm, downtown with the Detroit Lions. Maz, what say you? Is there ever a chance that Sheila Hamm, would see the team in a great space and want to take a step back and maybe sell the team ever?
Wow.
Lions fans.
I can't see that.
It was a joke.
They've owned the Fords. The Fords have owned the team since 1963. Of course, on that dark day, November 22nd, where JFK was assassinated. Yep, that's when William Clay Ford signed on the dotted line. So I think it stays in the Ford family for a long, long time.
I agree. Last thing I will say about that, we'll get to commercial break. There is basketball tonight. Finally, feel like we haven't had a game in a very long time. Want to get Kool-Aid's thoughts on Tyrese Halliburton as well as OKC and Oklahoma Thunder. We'll get those thoughts, but just want to say with Jeannie Buss, she ran that program the right way, ran that organization the right way, and I think because of how strong, confident, vigilant, and because of the stamp of her father and how she ran it, I think that allowed women to join the ownership space. We have over 5 women in the ownership space across the 4 leagues now. I think she can be attributed to some of that because she ran it. She ran it the right way.
Oh, yeah.
She did things the right way. We'll get a quick message in now from White Claw. That's right. It's the White Claw Tigers Tour. June 29th. We will be at the Old Miami to watch the Detroit Tigers. It is going to be a game. You want to come down with the crew, man. You got Kool-Aid, you got the heavies, you got myself, Maz, Ryan, Ricky. Everybody's running around because we want to see the Tigers and we want to do it together. Then after that, July 11th will be at second best. You want to come on down and party, man. The Tigers are kicking you know what. So come be a part of it. White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Van Johnson Law.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. and finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Beligian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media, X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, looking to update and upgrade your relaxation game? Well, look no further than Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, not too far from Woodward Sports, right down the street on Woodward and Long Lake Road. The largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest, featuring Dr. Eric Duncan. He is the wellness doc, and he is the creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Check him out right now. Book yourself a test drive or a test massage. Sit down in this thing. I'm telling you, it's hard for me to get Ricky out of this chair before and after the show. Check it out now, massagechairhouse.com, or hit that QR code right now. Book your massage right now. It's free. Check it out. Many choices ahead of you. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
My mistress.
Look, teens 14 to 19 workout free all summer long. Parents, I repeat. Teens, I repeat. You guys work out for free, 14 and 19 all summer long. It's a part of the high school summer pass program by Planet Fitness. Look, we want you to get out of the house. We want you to work out, because you know why? This allows teens to prioritize their mental and physical health. While school activities like sports and gym class are in recess, you don't have that space where you can get outside, where you can let it go, let the energy flow, man, get the legs going, jump around, move around. Just get the heartbeat up, man. That's what we want you to do all summer, and it is free. There are over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations for Planet Fitness. So this is all you, man. Come on down, have fun. Parents, drop your kids off, let them have fun. This is what you gotta do, man. Feel free. It's the mental space that we want to protect, and it's the physical space as well. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is.
Man, tell me what's going on, man. Schools in the rain, Tigers, what's going on?
Hey, rough first inning, but he got out of it.
Ooh.
Tigers have put 5 runs on the board.
Let's go.
Against Alex Heaney. It is a whitewash in America, in between the raindrops.
Guys,
Should be
5.
fun.
Hey, it's
Three,
looking like the Tigers about to get another series win. Let's go, Tigers.
So that was doing a little commercial break. We are watching Maz is watching on the computer. Tigers are now up 5-0. Maz, take us through the play. And there was a little something that you noticed out of the skipper, if you will.
The Tigers aren't smashing the ball. They're like dinking it, and the Pirates are letting them dink it. They're not catching it. It's getting by them. It's 5-0 early. Riley Green's got 4 RBI in this game. They're going to walk home in this one. And, of course, Tarek Skubal on the hill. He's just starting to get in the groove. And, of course, the next game should be a good one. About 5:30 tonight, maybe even 6 o'clock, you get to see Paul Skeens if you get down to Comerica Park. But I'll tell you, when FanDuel goes to the dugout and they're just talking, and you see A.J. Hinch talking to his staff, he is, like, trying not to smile. You ever, like, when you're playing a team, Braylon, and you can tell me this.
Yeah.
When you got the better team and you're beating the daylights out of that other team and you know you're going to win and you're just having fun and everything is going your way, it's hard to not enjoy it and be happy, almost be a fan. He's a fan of his own team. And like you said, he's living, man. He is living it this year. I think he's having the time of his life this year.
I'm going to get back to that thought about have I ever been in a game, because the answers have been in a couple, but I got a good one that comes to mind. But as it relates to A.J. Hinch, man, you're right. Maz, what I think about is this, as well as Kool-Aid. Sure. A.J. Hinch left the Houston Astros under different circumstances. No matter that he won a World Series, he still won it with an asterisk. There was cheating going on. We understand that for a fact. Maz always cracks a joke about about the little guy.
I hate that little SOB.
100%. He definitely does. Javi Baez, psych. No, but what is his name? Wow, I drew
Jose
a blank.
Altuve.
I drew a blank right there. But we know they cheated. There was an asterisk on his name and what he was able to do in that. He leaves. This was kind of like a start over. It's kind of like a penance, if you will. It's punishment. You're going to the Detroit Tigers. They're in a bad space. To go from World Series cheating, Detroit Tigers last year till now, he can't help but smile because this was a rebirth for him as well. It wasn't just this team and this franchise. This is the rebirth, and this is the validation. No, I am him. No, it wasn't because we were cheating. You can say what you want to, and that's fine, but I am a damn good manager, and that's what I'm seeing out of him. That explains the smile. The game. We were playing Indiana my senior year down in Bloomington. Horrible stadium. Great people. Great fans, great people. The stadium was horrible.
Is it still the same stadium?
I think they might be getting a new one. Keyword is might, which means I think it might still be. But there was a particular game where Chad, like everything about the game was on. I'll take you for example. I was supposed to be in on the play. Shoe came untied. I had to come out the game for a second. Jermaine Gonzalez, shout out to Orchard Lake's head coach. He goes out, throws a play, touchdown, easy, same thing. Steve Breston got hurt, so now Grant Mason has to kick return. Grant Mason goes back their first kick return of the year. Once again, shout out to Orchard Lake St. Mary. Maz, 92-yard kickoff return.
Oh.
He gets tackled at the 1.
No.
We had punt return. Steve Breston's out. So here comes Leon Hall, his first punt return of the year. Guess who had to play jammer because our cornerback was hurt? Me. I jammed the cornerback, knocked out this the punter. Leon scores a touchdown, 78-yard punt return touchdown.
Wow.
I ended up scoring like 2 more times in that game. Like Mike was it was just
The Harlem Globetrotters.
nothing could go wrong. Like nothing. We went for it on like 4th and 15 and just ran a long out route. Like Chad threw the best pass he'd thrown all year. I caught on the side.
Taking candy from a baby.
But to your point, like when nothing can go wrong, but it's because you've done the leg work. I say that to say that's the other part of the smile. Yeah. It's the leg work, Kool-Aid. You know this team has gone through it last year, but it's the leg work, it's the coaching. The hitting's gotten better, the pitching's gotten better, the togetherness has gotten better.
And you know what? They're not dependent on just one guy. I know that we've been screaming for one bat. We've been screaming for that star player, but we've stumbled upon a team that really is the definition of a team, which if we're being for real, that's been the definition that's been probably synonymous with all of our championship winning teams, all of our squads that have almost gotten there. You know, because I still have to tip the cap to our previous teams from like 06 to 12. But this team is doing it because of plethora of guys. We were going through this exercise earlier over who's going to be a lock for the All-Star team, but then we came upon this revelation. No matter who's on the All-Star team or not, there's a lot of guys who have a case, and that's the difference. And it's from players that we just didn't really expect. That, to me, is where you get the kind of smirk of an A.J. Hinch. You know, I remember going back to last year, a lot of us thought this team was dead in the water.
Yeah.
And then they made some moves that they believed in, even if we didn't as
hold
much.
on.
And they took off, bro.
They thought they were dead in the water. They did because in how they played their young players last year, we know this for a fact. Scott Harris basically has come out and said, we were just throwing everybody out there to see what we had. They thought they were dead in the water.
Sheesh.
So everyone did, including them.
I think that actually gives a little bit more of the kudos to one AJ Hinch.
Yeah.
Because this guy is going out there and he's putting the strategies together, the lineups together. There are whole days where it's bullpen days. As much as we know we can rely on Terry Scuba to go out there more times than not and shut down an entire team, the fact that we're literally one of the best teams in all of baseball now, not just this year, but also post-trade deadline last year, we were the best team in all of baseball.
40 games over 500.
All of the, I mean, I'm serious. You can go back to the last trade deadline.
Yeah.
There's not a team close to the Tigers record-wise. AJ Hinch has been pulling all of these different strings, and you know they've relied on like the bullpen days every fifth day, and then you know that they're gonna have to rely on long relievers every third and fourth day. That to me is insane. Sometimes the bats might not be there. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
The way they're winning right now is completely different than the way they were winning last year. But AJ Hinch is still the person that's pulling all of these strings, bringing the strategies to the forefront, and getting the most out of all of these players that sometimes we didn't even believe in. I don't know how much they even believe in them.
Here's a little stat for you guys to prove that the Tigers are for real. Pete, you ready for this one? You like stats about baseball and the Tigers. The Tigers, when having a lead in the 7th inning this season, are 40-3. The Tigers, when having a lead after the 8th inning, are 40-0. Believe it, because they close games, they start games, and in the middle of those games where they have those little funky patches where you're like, oh, this could be the moment, they find ways to win, especially after they lost.
I'm talking
so
about.
You're watching the Tigers find themselves, and it's still early on in the season. We haven't even hit the All-Star break yet. The facts, the numbers support the truth. That's a big question. We keep talking about who has the best record in baseball. Oh, well, the Tigers have the best record. And I feel like a lot of people aren't saying that next part. And that next part is this. Regardless of who has a better roster, who is the best team in the MLB? And based on the facts, based on the stats, based on the consistency, they may not have the roster that you like. They not have the players that you like. You want to run through the LA Dodgers or the Yankees or the Phillies or insert the Mets here. They may not have the players, but they got the wins, they got the strategy, they got the stats, and they got the consistency. So I think they are the best team in baseball right now, not just the best record.
In the beginning of the season, they did battle the Dodgers. Even though it was a sweep, they did battle them well. And via ESPN, you know, they put out their power rankings. And for a third week in a row, I'm going to read this from them. Atop our list, the Detroit Tigers become the team with the most consecutive weeks at number 1 so far in our 2025 power rankings. Passing who? The Dodgers, who have spent 2 consecutive weeks in the top spot twice this season. So we see now national media is starting to really swing things, pun intended, towards the Detroit Tigers' way. And I remember MLB.com, they were the first to it. After about the first 30 games or so, they stated the Detroit Tigers are for real, not because of their, them beating up on their own division, but look at their record against winning teams and playoff teams from last year that made the playoffs, teams who believe are going to make the playoffs. They're beating good teams, and they're doing it handily, man. What up, dumbass?
They can't be this hot all year. I just want people to understand that.
It's been a long
When they
time.
lose 2 in a row, we all get upset. Oh, here go the Tigers. Go to New York right now.
Water's finding its level.
Go to New York right now. The Mets and Yankees have lost a combined 12 straight games. The New York papers, the radio stations, the television guys are all going out of their mind. But it's June 19th, guys. Relax. We're going to have some bad streaks in this. It's a long season. Hell, the Dodgers, as good as they are, aren't the Scott Stanton back. We'll see what they can do. But again, they lost 6 in a row. They can't score any runs. The Yankees can't score runs. They were shut out in 3 straight games. So it can't last all year. So chill out. You've got a very good team here in Detroit. They're going to win the Central. They're up 10 games right now. If they win by 10, great. If they win by 3, fine. I don't care. Just get to the finish line, get to the playoffs healthy, and watch out because this team could go all the way.
I hear you, man. Trying to caution. But just their record combined this year and the last 40 games of last year.
Yeah.
They are 74-40, bro.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
There's no one close.
No, but unfortunately, Kool-Aid, we can't put both seasons together. We can only play this season. Okay?
You're trying to save me from myself, man.
Okay.
Look, the bottom line is you don't have to put last season with this season because this season they are the best team in baseball records, and I think the aesthetic of it.
Hey, the Lions aren't starting off with 15 wins either, Kool-Aid. All right? Just to let you know.
I'll be right at 0-0. Fans, I got to let you know about yourself for a second yet. Like, every other week, you're flip-flopping talking about New York. Like, last week, I was told, as someone likes to say in this very chair, I was told that Aaron Judge was the best player of all time. I was told he was the best hitter of all time. I told he was better than Babe Ruth, Derek Jeter, Alex A-Rod, everybody ever played in the pinstripes. And all of a sudden he strikes out, and now I'm saying he sucks. He's overrated. Relax.
I know.
Come
on, man.
Yeah, you got to relax.
Like Aaron Rodgers would say, relax. Sorry about that.
R-E-L-A-X. What do you think he's... Go ahead, Pete.
I was going to say, man, if you could let me add 2 cents into the Tigers on Kool-Aid's comment about managing the bullpen.
Yeah.
That's how you win playoff games, baby.
Yeah.
That's how you win World Series. I mean, gone are the old days of the 6 and 7 strong innings of like good old Rick Porcello. Remember that? Remember game 163 going 7 strong even though we couldn't beat the Twins? But I'm just saying gone are those days. So just for the fact that he can manage the bullpen now early on and do it successfully, and he will do it once we get 2 more arms and 1 more bat, at least 2 more arms and 1 more bat. Kool-Aid, he's showing you that the trophy is coming to Detroit if he can manage that bullpen correctly.
Hey, Bray, let me read, and Kool-Aid, let me read some Super Chats for you
please,
guys.
go ahead.
Earlier today, nobody on the Super Chat says, Kool-Aid in the house.
Hey,
he says, Bray, I'm in Miami. What was your best game against the Finns?
I got a couple, yo. So I'll give you...
The team that almost drafted you.
That's a great one. Like, this is the team that I had the most angst against because of the situation. They told me they were going to draft me 2nd overall. They bought Steve Ross, the whole squad.
Mr. Ross, right?
He's Steven Ross 100%. But, yeah, so I did not like that they didn't take me, and I always held it against them. So my first time playing them was my rookie year, like game 5. Is the first game that I started, ironically, Maz. 5 catches, 95 yards. Like it was easy.
It was on.
Like it was easy work. Second time I played them, 2007 Pro Bowl year, played them, 6 catches, 90 yards, 3 touchdowns. My first hat trick.
Hat trick, baby.
First hat trick. First game as a New York Jet was on Monday Night Football at Pro Player Stadium, i.e. Hard Rock Stadium.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, balled out. We lost.
Sweet.
Had 2 touchdowns. I had a vendetta against them. Every time I played the Dolphins, the only team I ever always scored against. I would say the hat trick. First
Nice.
NFL hat trick.
All right, great answer. I'm glad you remembered all those games. Michael DeVries, he says Cooper Flag will be in L.A. in a few years. Kool-Aid, what say you?
Cooper Flag in LA. You know what?
That means
He's gonna start with the Mavericks.
but that means Dallas got to give him up twice.
Goodness gracious. I had heard some noise some rumors that Dallas was going to get busy this season, and we discussed it on Wake Up. I had no idea it was going to be Luka Doncic. I could only imagine if they go and run that back again. The Dallas fans, pray for them if that happened. Pray for them.
Maybe they'll get Luka back for Cooper Flag.
I felt bad for our friend Mike Curtis down there.
Awesome.
He went from here, Detroit, where it was pretty terrible. Now he's down there in Dallas. They trade Luka right underneath his nose, too. So
Unbelievable.
But
Dallas Morning News.
It's true, but they have the ability to potentially turn right back around, though, man. You don't like the aesthetic of that franchise. You don't like Kyrie being hurt and an older player.
I don't like
Cooper and AD.
I think it depends on how far ahead Cooper Flag is. I actually don't dislike their talent base.
Okay.
I think that Cooper Flag can be a floor and a ceiling raiser for the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, a lot is going to depend on Kyrie's health. I don't know what you're expecting to get out of him this next year. But as it relates to Cooper Flag, as it relates to AD, if you're getting something healthy, if he has something meaningful to play for this season, the Dallas Mavericks are not going to be a bad team. It's just a matter of, are they going to be one of those top of the West squads? I don't think so. Not with Kyrie still trying to get right.
Since we're on basketball, let me ask this question now. I was going to wait to the second hour and ask this question, try to have some long dialogue about it. I don't know if it's a long dialogue conversation. You know, you look at the East right now, you look at the move made by the Orlando Magic. They went out and got Desmond Bane. They gave up 4 number 1 picks. And when you break that down, I don't think it was 4 number 1 picks like everybody thought it was, in the sense of them unloading KCP's contract. The 2 number 1 picks were 19 and 26, but whatever. They went for it. They got a player. There's no Jason Tatum this year for the Celtics. There's no coach for the New York Knicks. And do you even trust the bench of the New York Knicks right now? Do you trust the Cleveland Cavaliers? Small guards do not win. We know this. When you look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference right now, there is a reason that Orlando made this move. They see the time is now. So sitting here talking about waiting and drafting, is this a situation, Kool-Aid, coming to you? Is it worth it to risk a lot this year because of it's wide open?
I've been doing this for
It's wide
during
open.
this entire dialogue because, yes.
It's the Pacers and nobody else, in my opinion.
And I'm telling you, look, Rob Beard and I, shout out Rob Beard, we've been tracking this on Woodward Pistons podcast for a few years, to all dysfunction teams, and you're exactly right. We looked at it this year, and we knew that the Pistons were going to have a chance to rise up the East because of the all dysfunction teams. And did they sit idly by at the trade deadline? No, they didn't. They went out there and they made a move. And it wasn't just a, that's okay move. It was Dennis Schroeder who played. It was one of the more impactful players in the playoffs and down the stretch. And now probably one of the players that I want them to bring back.
I want to keep
the
him.
most. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So when you're looking at more of this dysfunction, we knew this. Orlando was a team that was falling into dysfunction, but they could pull themselves out with a move. I actually believe the Desmond Bane move is a good one for them. You look at their three up against any other three in the East, you got to say their three is probably top three in the East.
Yeah.
So when I look at the fact that Boston is kind of falling by the wayside, some of these other teams are not as invincible or far ahead of the Pistons as we once thought, I absolutely believe the Pistons got a strike right now. I want them to. Part of me believes that they're playing with this window of this year and next year. They have a lot of flexibility to get something done. But when you're talking about what you could do entering this coming season, I absolutely would love to see them be able to strike because I think it's right there for the taking.
I think so too, Tom.
I don't want to break this team up. I love the way this team is built. I think they're 2 players away from really getting in this thing. But like I tell you, I'm not even thinking about the West. I just think about the East, like you brought up. And not only that, Giannis might not be in the East when it's all said and done. He might get dealt somewhere. Not sure where. Hell, is there room for him here? I think Woodward put out didn't Woodward Sports put out a trade earlier today?
Yeah,
it was a very gettable trade. It was Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, who else? It was it was Tobias.
Oh, Tobias.
Tobias and 2 number 1s to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. I thought that was light.
Yeah, Tobias, Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart, 3 number 1s.
Yeah, 3 number 1s.
Yeah, and it was originally via ESPN because they do believe that the Pistons are one of those teams, because they are, poised in a position to be able to make something happen. For the first time in 5 years, they have all their draft picks back that they can trade. They can trade up to 4 first-round draft picks, and they have a small war chest of second-round draft picks. So they have the ability to make something happen. It's just how big do you want to go? Because I kind of feel like you, where I don't want to gut the team, but I do believe they can at least make a Naz Reid, a Bobby Portis, maybe a Santi Aldama plus type of move to be able to move this team forward. And I'm thinking about what it means for Cade Cunningham in the pick and roll, pick and pop action.
Now, if Anson was here, he'd be going out of his mind. He'd be pulling out the hair on his head. Instead, he's going to Electric Forest to have a nice weekend. We wish Anson the best.
He needs it.
But I'll tell you this, man. He would go absolutely nuts because when we bring up these big names, like when we bring up Trey Hendrickson and Myles Garrett for the Lions, he's like, we don't want to go. Don't go for the big name. Build like the Detroit teams are building. Go for the long road. Go for the long haul. But you're going to tell me, would he even be mad if you could make that deal for Antetokounmpo? He couldn't even be mad.
Look, I like a lot of the players on this list. I believe Isaiah Stewart is their heart and soul.
Yeah.
I believe they missed a lot in the New York Knicks series without him there.
For sure.
Hell yeah, that was Maz's guy. He was pissed.
Yeah, and then Jaden Ivey, I believe in Jaden Ivey. Obviously, if you're swapping Tobias out, Giannis in, that's a swap that you're going to go for. I like Jaden Ivey. I don't necessarily want to part with him, but I'm sorry, there's no way I can sit up here, even as a name like Detroit Kool-aid, and state that this is a deal that the Pistons shouldn't take. This is one where, in a vacuum, you realize that you get to hold on to Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson. You still have Cade Cunningham here. You could still go out there and bring back some of your other vets, too, and Giannis.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
that's like best team in the East.
Holy crow.
Sticking with Giannis, let me ask a question about Giannis specifically, not about coming to the Pistons or the Bucks. Stephen A. Smith made a comment about Giannis, and when he said Giannis was an underachiever. He said he was an underachiever based on, when you start looking at the stats of a thing, when you look at the 2 defensive players of the year, the 2 MVPs, you look at the 1 championship, you look at all those things, you look at how great Giannis is. He was calling him based on the perception of how it is these days. When you win 1 championship, Somehow along the way, we've got to a space where if you win no championships, then you didn't do anything.
Yeah,
if you only win
bum.
one, then were you that great? So he was looking from that space.
He's only done it 3 years ago.
Very true. But if he finished with one, how is the greatness then skewed? How is it then viewed? Because right now, he and Jokic, they're on this trajectory of, man, they're going to be the greatest players, or they're going to be a top 10, or Jokic is the most dominant offensive player and weapon that we've ever seen, better than Shaq. You look at all that. But if they finish with one title, is it the same? Do you now look at it different? Because that's kind of how it was in 2012 when they said Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback ever. Yeah. And now you fast forward to him only being at one Super Bowl, winning it nonetheless, but one. The legacy looks a little different. I ask you, Maz, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, I guess you do look at him differently, but I don't think he's. How many more years do you think Giannis can play at a top peak?
At his level?
Yeah.
3.
3 more years. So you're telling me in 3 more years he doesn't win a championship with whatever team he's with, then yeah, I think he became an underachiever.
Ooh.
I do.
What about you?
I give him just a little bit more because there's some people who will say Kevin Durant doesn't deserve as much credit because he went and chased after rings with a super team, where Giannis chose to stay with the small market team and made a winner out of a franchise that I didn't believe would ever become one. Yeah. I didn't think that he would be able to bring that type of energy to there, even how good he is. So I weight that a little bit differently. If you're going to discount like what KD did, I got to make sure I elevate Giannis just a little bit. But if he doesn't win anymore from here on out, I do believe it puts him in the same position. Like, we know how much we love the 04 Pistons. We know how big of a victory that was. We know how much they pushed the Spurs even the next year. But without that second one, I think that it allows them to just be considered a great team, flash in the pan, and that was just it, rather than the dynasty that we knew them to be, going 6 straight Eastern Conference Finals, 2 finals appearances, and what if it was 2 championships? With Giannis, I do believe that there's opportunity or a chance where how good he is can get diminished just a little bit because he does have that one ring.
The only thing I would say about the Giannis situation, we'll take a quick commercial break, man, get you in on a message from Buddies, it's our favorite pizza spot. And next segment, I want to get some Lions in. I know you guys haven't heard some Lions. We got some great sound for you, so we'll play a couple of those sound bites, get that going, get you guys rocking and rolling. The last thing I'll say about Giannis is, in a time when there's so much parity, there's now 7 different champions this year, you can go to a place or put yourself in position with the right people to win a chip. So if Giannis in this space, it's different when you got LeBron's going to go out of the East every year, or Golden State's going out of the West every year. It's tough when you're playing against them because you can't win, and you understand it. But now, last time I checked, it's no back-to-backs. It's nobody winning back-to-back, and it's changing. So if you can't put yourself in position in the next 5 years to win one in this landscape, then I'm gonna have to say,
you know what you just said?
What?
I don't know how many people are actually paying attention to.
Pistons better win.
How this playoffs has gone, especially in the East, is showing just how realistic it is for the Pistons to get there.
Hell yeah.
It's wide open. It's just right there, bro.
Hell yeah.
Jeez, man, they got to get this thing done.
100%. Look, we're excited for that, but let's get a quick commercial break in from Buddies.
Hey, get ready, Detroit, this Monday, June 23rd. So this Monday, put that in your calendars right now. I'm going to give y'all 5 seconds, all right? Put it in the calendar because I need you guys to support this. We're taking over Buddy's Pizza downtown for National Detroit-style Pizza Day. Join Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Show live from 2 to 4 p.m. with Woodward Sports Network. Come down, meet the crew, and celebrate the birthplace of Detroit-style pizza. It is the last day to get the 79 special. Their iconic 8-square Wisconsin brick cheese pizza topped with 79 Old World pepperoni and Parmesan. Buddy's Pizza in downtown Detroit. Remember, June 23rd.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone. Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Make sure you get your new Detroit sports merch at shop.woodwardsports.com. I know you're tired of wearing that same old shirt from last year, that same old hat. Get something new, man. It's a new era in sports wearables with new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Shop.woodwardsports.com. No matter if it's hoodies, tees, hats, it's all guaranteed to turn heads. So make sure you go get some new merch right now for all your favorite Detroit sports teams, man. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Go shop now.
And guys, let's be honest, we like simple stuff like gimmies on the golf course. We like uncomplicated, like Terry Scuba on the mound. It means a Tigers W. Like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, sign in, before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Scuba, the Detroit Tigers are up 7-0 on a sack fly from Spencer Torkelson right now.
It was a Torque touchdown. It's 7-0.
There you go.
Torque touchdown.
100%. Well, technically it'd be 6-0. There you go. Now I'm just messing with you. So that is your update on the Detroit Tigers as they look. You know, I would be remiss if I didn't get a word in from, and we talk about the NBA Finals. NBA Finals Game 6 tonight, where the Indiana Pacers down 2-3 to OKC. J-Dub, absolutely phenomenal. Last game, 40 points. SGA and J-Dub combined for 71. The star duo powered. And it was insane. It was insane watching. Just a word, Tyrese Halliburton will play tonight. He will go with the calf strain. Besides the calf strain, and moving that aside, what have you thought about these finals so far and watching them? You know, Indiana Pacers, they did get 2 games. A lot of people didn't think they would get any, but it just has looked like an uphill fight for the Pacers the whole time.
Hey, it's giving me shades of 2000s or like early to mid 2000s type basketball. You're seeing defense. You're seeing people play all out. You're seeing them leave it out there on the court. And to me personally, I like this style of basketball. It makes me believe that the Detroit Pistons are built the right way and that they're on the right path. So just selfishly, first and foremost, as a Detroit fan, I like this style of basketball because it helps me to believe that the Pistons can compete. Beyond that, when you're just looking at the talent here, SGA and the Thunder have been a team and a player that I have long looked at and said, you know what, I want that. When we got Cade Cunningham, you could already kind of see the shades of the taller facilitator. Everything's going to flow through this individual, the connector, the leader, the aspect of aura. But when I'm looking at what the Pacers are doing right now, I got to respect it to be at this stage right now. I know they're fighting for their finals lives. They've done it the way that we are used to seeing our teams do it. It's playing as a team. You're seeing a lot of their role players go out there and get it done, shooting well from beyond the arc. Their offense is connected and flowing. You're looking at guys like Tyrese Halliburton, who, no matter how much I hate the rival Pacers, and I will always hate on Tyrese Halliburton. But as a hooper, as a respecter of hoops, you got to respect who Tyrese Halliburton has been as a player.
Okay, stay there. We had this conversation. It's a very fascinating conversation. I don't think we're the only ones having it. Is Tyrese Halliburton a superstar?
I don't put him as a superstar. No. I will give him. I will level with star, and that even feels to me dirty to say. But when I'm looking at him right now, he's not as consistent as it relates to the stats that you'll see a guy like Cade Cunningham put up.
Yeah.
He's not putting up the volume, but in terms of being a guy that you count on to get you that 17, 18, 9 assists per game, low turnovers, and show up in the clutch, he's what I would call he's vital. He's necessary. He's a star, but he's not quite a superstar. You look at Pascal Siakam as the only all-star on that team. He, to me, is what I would believe to be closer to a star than what Tyrese is.
Man, there's a new definition of that. I went home and had a chance to think about it. I think the definition is a superstar is a player that you can put on a bad team and they'll still get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like when you're a superstar, you can be on a bad team and still get that team to the playoffs, and maybe even win the series if you got a player or two. I think that's what a superstar is. Tyrese Halliburton on this team without Pascal Siakam, without Miles Turner.
But you're right there, because when you look at this thing in reverse with Cade Cunningham, he is the all-star on this team.
Yeah.
He did will this team. He had no other all-star team.
He's all-NBA on this team.
And he's all-NBA. And that's the difference. So when I say Cade's a guy trending towards superstar versus Halliburton, who I will always give respects to him, because what he does in crunch time, what he does to keep those turnovers low, I believe that is a plus for his team, obviously. But he's not doing it to the tune of a Cade Cunningham. We talk about this on Woo.
Yeah.
There's a gap of almost 13% between Tyrese Halliburton and Cade Cunningham's usage rate. So you're right. The do-it-all guys, you'll see those usage rates be up at 27 to 33%. Tyrese's is generally hovering between 20 and 24%.
Yeah, no,
he's not doing it all.
Listen, Ming. Tonight's game, it's Game 6. Win or go home. The Lakers knocked out the Pacers. This is the anniversary of that when the Pacers lost. Was that a 5-game? Was that a 5-gamer?
6.
That went 6 as well?
Yeah, you talking about the infamous block?
Yeah.
That went 6 because the block happened Game 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was the knockout blow. Lakers over the Pacers. I'm going to ask you guys, do we see a Game 7 or is it over tonight?
I think I'll go first. I think it's over. I think what you saw J-Dub do, and I want to ask you about J-Dub as it relates to how good is he really, or is he playing a Batman and he's allowed to do so much? But I think what you saw him doing that last game, like SGA was allowed to take a backseat and still have 30. Still found 31 points, and a lot of other guys. I think this game, they're going to destroy the Indianapolis Pacers because you cannot do it with Tyrese Halliburton playing like this. And if it truly is a calf strain, he shouldn't play again. I mean, he may not should play tonight. It may end in something worse than he has not. I think it's done for the Pacers, and I think you see somebody else go off. I think SGA puts his staple on this game. I think he has 41, 42, and I think you see Chet have about 25. So give me SGA to put his style. Because for me,
like
this
BTA style or a good game?
Nah, BTA. This is the moment. I think this is the moment that SGA needs to have, that people that don't believe, that people that are still tweeting the fences, whatever, this is the moment that he has where he's like, nah, F that. This is mine. This is what I want. And he can take it back to Canada in the offseason.
Especially if Tyrese Halliburton is hobbled at all. Go out there and end this thing. Go out there and put your foot on the neck, and that's it.
Yeah.
When you're talking about SGA and this kind of dream season, I say leave nothing to doubt, especially against an upstart Pacers team. This is the best team in the league record-wise. They said it. This is the best player in the league for this season MVP-wise. And it would be, I think, storybook for him if he goes out there and absolutely balls out, has one of those 35, 40 burgers. And when you look at his squad, man, there's so much help around that it was interesting. I like kind of the nuance you put on there as it relates to Jalen Williams, because I believe he's very, very talented. But I'm almost wondering, is he more or less the Jamal Murray? I'm sorry to Jokic.
And Anson to fight you for saying that, but I'm more along that line. When you have a team that's good, when SGA is drawing 2.5 players every time he's down the court, pause. Like, it's just one of those situations where he's benefiting from a lot on that team, but he is damn good himself.
Yeah, and then when you look at just a couple years ago, people were looking at Lou Dort as one of those top tier players. It's like this team, they've gotten better, and I think that it creates a lot of opportunity for players like Chet Holmgren, who's found his feet and still trying to find his way as it relates to his ceiling. And then you're talking about a guy like J-Dubs, who I believe he gets to take advantage of the gravity that players like SGA creates. And then you're talking about the two-way ability of a lot of their players. I think that helps this team more than anything, especially those young guys, because it instantly reduces the defensive lapses. It instantly reduces the defensive usage rate, and it puts these young players in really a better position to succeed. Because you see OKC, what do? They get out and they run.
Yeah, 100%. Man.
Spread's 5.5. It dropped a point. It was 4.5. It went up to 6.5 with the injury to Halliburton. It's down to 5.5. The betting man in me, and I'm not betting, tells me that I think the Pacers win this game. That spread to me looks too low.
What are they
Isn't 5.5 you and Ryan's number?
5.5 for football.
For 5.5
for football. Yeah, on the upset.
Yeah,
on the upset. Yeah, you might be right there. I think the Pacers win tonight. I do. I think we see Game 7 on Sunday.
I won't put it past you. At the end of the day, look, we talked about this to start the series. Kool-aid, Mark Deneau, and SGA have never. They have never closed the door on an NBA Finals. Rick Carlisle has. Pascal Siakam has. So I think it's a situation where if you want to bet on Rick Carlisle to put together a game plan, to inspire his men, to give all that they have on the heels of how Pascal Siakam and Benedict Mathurin, who's kind of coming to his own, and Neymar disappeared. He needs one. TJ McConnell actually plays strong. If you're saying that Rick Carlisle can rally his eyes up for a game, Maz, I could be in for that. I could be in for that because I think it's the respect we owe. And also, this is kind of how the series go. We didn't see Game 1 going the way that it went. And we didn't see Game 3 going the way that it went, Kool-Aid.
Yeah, you know what? Rick Carlisle is a coach who we've been talking about.
He blew it last game, though.
I don't know, man. I'm looking more at the personnel. I'm looking at some of the injury aspects of it. I believe that this team is far in a better place because of Rick Carlisle than any decision that he made. Like, if there is a mistake or something he has,
it was just a mistake.
I almost give him that.
I was just saying the injury side of things because Tyrese Halliburton going into it and you had him play. Like, you took him out with 3 minutes. Like, you should just took one, not played him, and or bench him at half.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, to give him 36 minutes in that game, but you don't give him those last three.
Which are his moments.
It's like either don't play him, or don't at least save him for that time.
Look, Game 4 was the killer. Let's face it.
True.
Game 4 was the Pacers-Knicks Game 1 when the Knicks pissed away Game 1 to the Pacers, and the Pacers did the same. They literally peed down their leg in the fourth quarter of Game 4 when they could have went up 3-1. They were up 11 points. So when they look back, and if they lose this series, they're going to look back at that, and they probably will lose this series. But I believe it goes 7.
All right, man.
You got to think, where do they, if Tyrese Halliburton is it right, where do they get it down the stretch? Because then you get a greater focus on
Miles
some
Turner
of those.
has to step up.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You're going to have a greater focus now on some of those role players. You're going to have a greater focus now on Siakam. While I do believe OKC Thunder and a guy like SGA, he's primed for these end-of-game stretches. And if you're talking about a guy who knows I could end this thing tonight, that's what I'm looking for. I believe the game tonight is SGA's mindset as it relates to you can close this thing out. Who are you down the stretch when you get that opportunity?
Also, I believe, too, for SGA. SGA is the king of manipulating to get the foul. Yeah. When you play against teams that are desperate, teams that are hungry, their backs against the wall, what are they going to be? They're naturally going to be more aggressive. They're going to go after tonight. And I guarantee you, SGA, he's going to make them pay for that. You're going to have – this team is going to be in the bonus with 9 minutes left in the second quarter.
That's a really good point.
Hey, before we get off basketball, before we get off hoops and get a little Lions in, did you guys – I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel. I don't watch any of the late-night shows. But Cade Cunningham on Jimmy Kimmel last night, did you guys see it?
I didn't see it.
You got to tune it in. He does a commercial for a battery company. It's freaking hilarious. He is hilarious.
Cade's a star. He's a superstar.
Did you watch it, Cool?
Oh, yeah.
It's on our Woodward Sports. It's on Woodward Sports on Twitter.
Chill,
on X.
Funny.
He's funny, dog.
Yeah.
Like
he's dry. He's like dry funny.
I remember, and it's a confidence to it too. You can tell like he knows, like he gets it. And I remember All-Star Weekend. It was an awesome opportunity to be down there. Woodward Sports. We got credential. We have boots on the ground, and to hear him talking, this guy's confident that he is the face of the league. That was the most amazing answer to me is when they asked him, "Yo, who's the future faces of the league?" And he looked. And he was like, yeah, I can't say me, right? I can't say me. And I thought he was joking. I'm like, no, you can say yourself. He was like, me. And he just sat there and we're like, any other names? He was like, I mean, I respect people in the league. And I'm like, yo, this guy, he's next level. And to see what he's been since then, see all the different little commercials, the stuff with the comedian, Funny Marco. Yeah, Cade Cunningham is next level. I don't think we've had a person like this since. Maybe.
I think you got to watch it when you get time.
I think it's scary because he's so dialed in. I think it's scary because of how he approaches the game. Like, he's all about basketball. Like, he has the KD sense. KD only cares about one thing.
Hoops.
It's basketball.
Buckets.
Like, I've literally been in club with KD. KD's got literally, like, the stories are true. He's got the hoop shorts on or the hoop shoes, and he's got the jogging suit on, like straight basketball. But he's not the leader side of the sport. Like, he'd rather just be the hooper and let someone else do the leading. Hence, the place he's gone. Cade is dialed into the basketball aspect, but also, no, I want to be the leader. I want to be the guy. We noticed that here. So for you to say that, I'm kind of like, I believe it. I believe he believes that as well.
And I think that's what it is. Not even about being prideful or cocky. I think he believes in the work that he's putting in ultimately. And you see what it is. I think Cade knows why he was brought to Detroit. If he doesn't take that mantle on his shoulders, I think that he is letting down the Pistons and he is letting down even himself. Yeah. This thing has been set up for Cade to be the connector. This thing has been set up for Cade to be the face. They took Chuck Daly's number 2 out the rafters for him. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when you put it in those types of contexts, I hope we're all sitting around ready. Like, is this going to be our first guy that actually gets a pair of shoes? Like, I remember what Adidas tried to do for Chauncey.
I remember that.
They tried. But Grant Hill was realistically the last player that we had. I think Cade is on this trajectory. I really do.
I like that. 100% respect to Cade, because guess what? That number is going back in the Raptors, and it will have his name on it as well. Pete,
can I add something to what you said earlier, sir?
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt the good Cade talk. You were saying that you think the Pacers are going to come out and just come out hot and start the game.
Well, I said they would. I said usually when the team has their back against the wall, they come on with a lot more aggression, a lot more frustration in the game. Yeah,
that makes sense. So I think that they're going to play a tough first quarter. You said how many points you were predicting now for what was the 25 points you predicted?
Chet.
Okay. So combine him. The Indiana Pacers are plus 130 to win the first quarter on our Caesars Sportsbook app.
There you go.
So I would just like to add that bet in. I think at plus 130, there's your bet for you. Under your advice, which I agree with. I
100%.
think that they
you
win
heard
the first
Pete.
quarter.
That sounds like good advice if I do say so myself. Maz, everybody in the room, like, how were you when Ben Johnson left and went to the Chicago Bears? Like, were you okay with it because you knew he was leaving? Or was it Benedict Arnold is what you thought?
Oh, Benedict Arnold?
I
didn't. You said Ben Johnson.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I don't know who that is.
Benedict Arnold. How did you feel about
Benedict Johnson?
There you go. How did you feel about the departure?
No, I felt
Was
hurt.
it a slap in the face?
It felt like a slap in the face, especially considering that this was probably, in my opinion, the worst kept secret in the league for 2 years. Right. I thought all of us knew when he left here it was probably going to go to the Bears. So for the situation to be what it was, to see how this offense performed in that last game,
right, and
then for him to be just kind of, hey, I'm at the Bears. Like, man, my man even hit the Lady James on the way out, bro. This press conference, he was clean. I was looking like, dog. And yes, I was salty. I don't have a problem with saying that. I was sitting there like, are you serious?
Yeah.
In the division? In the division, bro?
Well, you may not be the only person that felt like this, man. Here's Brad Holmes on what he thought about Ben Johnson's departure to Chicago.
When we got the trade done and you heard all that was just salary dump, like, what I was thinking was like, man, look, like, Jared Goff, like, obviously we did a lot of work on him, trading up, number 1 overall and taking him. So I really knew what he was all about and how he was wired. But it was all about, like, what was the last thing? I think we all suffer from the recency bias. And so the last thing was him exiting the playoffs early, or the last thing was him losing a Super Bowl. And I'm sitting here like, man, this guy, I didn't know that your career is defined at 24 years old or 25 years old or whatever he was at the time. He had a lot of early success. But he had some bumps at the tail end. But I knew obviously there were multiple jobs that were open that cycle, and so I didn't really know that. Like, I knew he had interviewed for Chicago, but he interviewed for a lot of the other positions too. So I really didn't know really which way it was going to go. I was thinking Chicago would have probably been the last destination, but or I was probably hoping that, probably, but no, I really didn't know that was happening till it actually, till he accepted the job. And we had a little talk briefly before he left. I was happy for him, man. I mean, he is a hell of a coach, man, and they have a really good one up there, but yeah, it's just a little like, man, watch Chicago.
You heard it from the man himself, Brad Holmes. Look, at the end of it, he said he congratulated him. He said he wants him to know he's done a good job, et cetera, et cetera. But he said what he said in the beginning. He said he didn't think he would take that job, and it caught him off guard. All the jobs open in that cycle.
You know what? I'm glad that Brad Holmes was actually open, honest, and vulnerable about it, because I think that's what's ultimately connected him to a lot of us here in Detroit, is that they have been honest. And as we've seen the track record play itself out, we know we could trust this man. So when I see him doing that, it just endears me even more to Brad Holmes. That took me completely off guard. When you look at Aaron Glenn, some people are like, oh, why aren't people as upset about that? Well, one, he didn't go to one of our hated rivals.
Yeah, right. He went home.
He went home to, this is a real thing. And he went to a place where, it has nothing to do with, honestly, where we are with the Lions. And I think that when you're making those types of leaps, you're free to go wherever you want to go and you've earned your ability to coach. But you would think sometimes with a guy like Benedict Arnold that you would do it just a little bit differently. To go to the Bears, and then some of the comments he stated about the quarterback, about the offense and all of that, it's just like, yo, are you taking shots at Dan Campbell and his offense here? Are you taking shots at the quarterback here? Are you taking shots at some of the players here? None of it really, 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 like, sat well with me. So I appreciate Brad Holmes being a little bit vulnerable about it.
Ben Johnson definitely was a little tone deaf as it relates to expressing his emotions on social. I think he missed the mark in that regard. Now, I ask you, does Brad Holmes saying this about Ben Johnson, does it validate how you feel? Or are you looking at this like, okay, cool, I'm not crazy for feeling this way, feeling like he's a traitor? And also, how much of how Ben Johnson walked out the door plays a part, meaning on the field? Because the last time we remember Ben Johnson, it was an offense that sputtered the whole game, and it was offense that was inconsistent, including his play calling.
Listen, man, the Lions crapped the bed against Washington, and they ran out of players. That's fine.
If they get to the Super Bowl and lose, are you different. As mad?
I'm not as mad.
Gotcha.
Here's the kicker. You look so bad in that game against Washington. 36 hours later, 36, he signs on with the Chicago Bears. Listen, if I was him, the Bears job would have interested me as well, to go to a city like Chicago, to a team where I think that they have some pretty good players. I like what they're doing on offense. He must like Caleb Williams. So if he likes Caleb Williams, and he watched him, I mean, the guy played all year for the Bears, and you saw him on Thanksgiving Day, and his coaching staff failed him on Thanksgiving Day against the Lions.
Horrible.
And Ben Johnson had a front row seat for that game. And he played him twice. So he sees what the Bears had to offer. It just hurt me that 36 hours after the worst loss of the year, in years, 36 hours later, he signs on with a team in our own division, a team that is on the rise, no question. That stuck in my craw, especially after the game he called against Washington. And you got J-Mo throwing a flea flicker in the fourth quarter when you're still in the freaking game. It bothers me. And then, like you said, he's a little tone deaf on the social media this past off season.
Yeah.
Not only that, if you watch the Bears and you see their training camp, you see all their guys now going out for passes. They're throwing passes to their offensive linemen. They're throwing passes to Caleb Williams. So it kind of makes me, I'm a little pissed. I understand those are his plays, and he's going to call them on whatever team he's on. It just bothers me extra when I got to see him twice a year now going forward.
Haven't seen him twice a year moving forward. But at the end of the day, though, look, we believe in the Detroit Lions and what they are. I think the move now is to punish, Ben
That would be
Johnson.
awesome.
Punish those guys.
Punish them.
And now it's a double whammy because, one, you're already hating because they're an age-old rival. Now,
Yes.
two, you got better reason because you hate, in air quotes, their coach. Because, you should never hate, in air quotes, anyone.
But they've handled these types of situations well. I like the fact we all know that Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl with the Rams, but I absolutely like the fact that our first home playoff win came against the Rams. Like, we've handled these situations, and sometimes people say things like, "Oh, Stafford might be better than Goff," and things like that. It just really hasn't mattered. So I don't really care in these types of situations. I believe whether people think Ben Johnson is going to make a win out of Caleb Williams or not, I just believe the Lions are still going to be in the driver's seat in this series. I just do.
Fair enough. Had to get some Detroit Lions content in there. Look, we're going to take a quick commercial break, get back on track. Dr. Pierce is here. We'll get him in eventually because he actually helped me out tremendously, but we'll get to that. First, let's get a message in from Les Stanford.
Oh, Les Stanford. So that's on Kool-aid. Les Stanford, Buick and GMC is great for everyone. Get a 2025 Envision Preferred all-wheel drive for only $259 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation for only $169 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $699 per month. That's a great price for that, man. So get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford, Buick and GMC. LesStanford.com. Together, let's drive.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Beligian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media, X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Make sure you stay connected with Woodward Sports on all social platforms. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, along with YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch for the latest sports news updates. live updates and behind the scenes action. Make sure you don't miss out. Hit that follow button now and be a part of Detroit's #1 digital sports network. Once again, we on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. That's at Woodward Sports. Make sure you hit that follow button, man. At Woodward Sports on all social platforms. Pete.
You guys know we've been talking about the NBA Finals Game 6. Braylon gave you prediction. I gave you prediction. Now it's time for you guys to show some action. Scan that QR code above my head. Use the code word over there, Woodward1000. Open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. When you do so, make your first deposit and your first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, you'll get your first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan that QR code above my head. Use the code word over there, Woodward1000, to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. Gentlemen,
welcome back to the show. Brandon Dent, man, it's been fun hanging out with you, brother.
Hey, it's been fun, brother.
It's been fun, man, hanging out on this Juneteenth day.
Let's go.
Especially, man. Pete, how you feeling over there?
doing fine, man. I really appreciate being here. It's always fun, man.
Ricky, how you feeling over there, man? My resident pastor, my spiritual brethren.
No, don't call me. I can't complain, man. It's not a bad day. And the doc's here. It's always good when the doc's here.
Shout out to
Well,
the doc.
thank you for ruining the surprise. You see this basketball right here. I'm just joking, man. Look, you know what it is. It's Thursday. We got our injury insider guy here, man, Dr. Jeff Pierce. But I don't want to take this time to talk about this. You know, we come on here, we talk about the sponsors and people we work with. We build these relationships. I already had a pre-existing relationship with Dr. Jeff Pierce, so we were already friends. But in this space, came to him with a problem, spur of the moment, yesterday, which is not how you're supposed to do. You're supposed to give Doc some time. I've been talking about these things for a minute with him, and I should have said something. But hit him up. I said, hey, look, Doc, I got a little something going on with my elbow, man. I would love to get in. Maybe I need an injection. He said, hold on, pipe your horses. Set me up at the clinic, Michigan Sports and Spine, right on 7 Mile. And Middle Belt, right around that area, like setting me up. I was there. Rosie took care of me, came in, did an ultrasound, showed me that my elbow wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but definitely was inflamed. Then set me up with Terry, who was able to give me some ultrasound treatment as well as some ice and some stim. Doc was on his way to Monroe. Had another whole deal to go to.
He still looked out?
He still came. He still came. He still showed up at the facility to make sure that I was okay.
It's that VIP thing.
Doc is a real one. And then even set up something else with another doctor that we've had on the show before. Set that up for me to have that as well so that my elbow will feel nice and good when I go out to this trip. So, Doc, I just want to say, man, I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
I love that. None of that was scripted.
It wasn't.
I love it.
He didn't even know.
That's from the heart. I didn't know that was coming.
Yeah, 100%. No, we appreciate you. But tell them about what I had a little bit and kind of what we did.
Well, no, first of all, you started that whole thing at about 6:45 in the morning.
I'm an early riser. I got to get to the gym.
And like, what can I get there? So we did rearrange everything. I mean, but that's what we do for young athletes. We want to get you in. I mean, just to talk a little bit more about Michigan Sports and Spine, we're not the office that you're going to call and say, we'll see you in 3 to 4 weeks. When you have an acute injury or something's going on, my rule is from the day I started 20 plus years ago, nobody waits longer than 2 weeks to get in. And we always have availability for someone with an emergency. So I want to push on it again. I've been talking with some of our social media people that want to work with me that we really want to provide that service to the people that aren't allowed to get it because they're restricted by insurance or bad insurance. I just don't want you going to the wrong doctor. Like, you could have went to the wrong doctor. You could have had an injection haphazardly because that's what you requested. You could have potentially tore a ligament on that trip. As far as what you had, I mean, we talked about with Maz, you have golfer's elbow versus tennis elbow. You had more of a tennis elbow, which is more on the outside. So if you lay your hand out, the anatomical position, you're on the outside, which we call the lateral side, versus the medial side, which is the golfer. So when you talk about the lateral, you're talking about the extensor muscles. So when you make a fist and you cock it back, those are all the extensor muscles. So if you're doing it and you put your other hand over it, you can feel those muscles flex, versus a golfer's elbow. If you go back to putting your hand anatomical, feel the inside of your elbow, flex that, you're going to feel those muscles. So those are your flexor muscles, which is more involved in a golfer's versus extension which is more of a tennis.
Can you have both?
You can have both when you overdo it. So when you usually what that happens is that you don't take care of it properly, and then you start compensating and you start gripping differently. Like, if it's in your case, I think you got it golfing or lifting. You said so.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. a little bit of abusiveness.
True.
So,
True indeed.
But what we did, which is peeling it back, like we talk about sports and sparring, and what we pride ourselves on is that we don't just, you have an elbow injury. We want to know why. We want to know what was involved. And we did an ultrasound to take a look to tell you that there's no tear. We're worried about what's going on at the bone. You didn't have heavy inflammation at the bone. Like Maz is a great example. He waited too long. And that was all inflammation to the bone where it absolutely needed an injection to try to advance it. If you weren't going away and you were really miserable, we would have injected it yesterday. But right now we have time to kind of calm it down. The laser treatment that we did produce, which cuts down inflammation, increases circulation. There's benefits to that. So that was a conservative way to treat you for this issue. But bottom line, how do you feel?
I feel better. Like I woke up, I felt better. The elbow had a little more flexion to it when I woke up this morning. When I bent it, I didn't feel it as much at the back end. I stayed away from it again at the gym. I literally only did the bike and got in the sauna a little bit. Did some abs.
Did you use the BioFreeze?
I got the BioFreeze. I forgot to use the BioFreeze. Dang it. I got to use the BioFreeze.
That whole ice compression thing.
You got to stay. I know I iced it. I had the compression. I did
the secret sauce, huh?
You know what I'm saying? I'm not allowed to say. I'm not allowed to say. I know you're a fan of sports like we are. $10 billion Los Angeles Lakers sold for it. What are your thoughts on that? Mark Walter acquiring the Lakers for $10 billion.
That's just outrageous. Where,
like, what?
We try. My daughter lives in the LA area. We try to get her tickets to the Lakers. The ticket prices are not for fans anymore, right?
No.
I'm not saying all are not fans. Like we can talk about Lions tickets and
because those aren't for fans either.
Yeah, that's becoming the same situation.
Yeah.
$10 billion has to be coming from somewhere. Granted, the NBA and David Stern, mastermind of getting TV contracts and revenue shares and all that, but that's it's a big number.
Is that foreign money coming in too? Because that's what's next. Like when teams.
Well, they're talking about venture capital money where they weren't allowing that to happen. Now venture capital money comes in. Now it's, like I said, it's a business. This
you
is
lose
a
the tradition
business.
of it. It's become an ATM versus the actual tradition. There's always been money involved, but it used to have some level of
so many more corporate interests.
Yeah, one's like
there's no. I made the joke. I don't know if you were there. The only purity of real sports may be flag football at 6 years of age. At this point,
and even that they're scouting. Even at the middle school teams, like, hey, look, man, we got a new roster right here.
Right. I mean, it's
time
just not. College. Is there purity there? Is there? I don't know.
No, college.
You play.
It depends with the sport. I think
all of them. Look at golf, tennis.
Yeah, but
they're paying for everybody.
But there's sports that there's not nearly as much money. There's not nearly as much money involved, and so you can still stay dialed in. You can like I guarantee if you're on the crew team, you're not doing it for money.
No, and I'm okay with that.
True. Everything else, it's over.
It's over. But the thing is, right now, like to get serious and try to be a little bit of medical on this. When I've been at Troy Sports Center, right, 20 plus years, we're dealing with young hockey players, and they're being scouted for college, for travel teams, all that. What's going on now is just what's the word? Outrageous. Everybody. So these kids, training kids just to get there, but now it's, look at how much the top football player made overall. I guess Braylon's leaving.
Braylon had to go. I'm subbing in for Braylon.
You got me, Doc. I can't tell the difference.
Hey.
Shout out Braylon, man.
Shout out, Bray.
Hey, be safe, brother.
Have a great weekend, Bray.
Have a good one, Bray.
All right, man. Bray's going to play golf for
I know.
This is he's having a great weekend this weekend.
Yeah. No, I know. I've been there.
Doc's been there before.
Oh.
Of course he has.
First he's playing with Charles Woodson, and then he's flying out to Oregon, to play with Joey Harrington.
Abandoned Dunes.
Isn't that something? They showed it yesterday.
Yeah, I want to know how many people in the chat have played Abandoned Dunes.
Yeah.
And then if they've played there, I want to know how they got there.
We had Joey on yesterday, and he told us about it. He said it's like the closest to playing like in Ireland, that there is.
It's amazing. It's an amazing place. Your travel, I mean, I was fortunate the way we traveled, but to get there from Michigan, it's a lot of travel, but it's worth it. But you better be scheduling a massage if you're playing 36.
A lot of hills, right?
A lot of walking, a lot of hills, a lot of purity of golf and the surroundings.
Did you?
I hit a 380 yard drive out there.
Come on.
Yeah, it was a roll in hills, baby.
380.
380.
That's awesome.
It rolled like 80.
What could Tiger?
This is back when I was big.
What could Tiger have done on that?
Tiger would have put it on the green.
He would have hit it at 500.
Probably, at least.
Hey, Kool-Aid, you play golf?
I need to. I've gotten out there on the driving range. I am a top golf professional.
Top
But
golf.
the actual game of golf, I need my Woodward Sports family to actually get.
Doc
me more
has
hits.
some outings at Top Golf. You're
we
gonna
went outing every year.
hook
Top
you
Golf.
up, man.
Hey, you know what? I can definitely get down there. I can drive it, but I need to be able to get the fullness of the game down. My pops, he tried to do it. He was in corporate America. Never got the game all the way together, but he added enough to at least be able to pull some deals together.
That's cool, man.
get to that.
Now, Doc, did you get to talk to Braylon about his therapy that he's been going through?
Yeah, we just got done talking.
Now, how about mine?
I used both of you as an example. Actually, I don't know if you watched Big D, but they made a recommendation. Did you hear about the recommendation?
I heard
that the Lions have Hutchinson.
Yeah.
We have what's his face for the Tigers, and now we have follow Maz's recovery.
I love it
for Woodward Sports.
I
So
love
weekly
it, man.
update. I'm supposed to be doing.
I always I'm going twice a week for about a month now, and the ladies there are outstanding. Now look, I've been to other therapies, other physical therapists, and it doesn't compare. Now I live at St. Clair Shores. Doc and Michigan Sports and Spine's in Livonia, so it's a hike for me. But the place I was going to was like 3 blocks from my house, and I wasn't getting anything out of it. So it's
I feel like we're doing a true infomercial for me today.
I don't mean I'm not trying to do that to you, but Faith and Kara, outstanding therapist at Michigan Sports and Spine. You guys got to give them a call. You know the scoop. I don't got to tell you.
But yeah, I mean, when you evaluate places to go like therapy, I use the term cookbook therapy. So when you're being evaluated and you're like, oh, who's in my network? That doesn't work. When you're like in my office, we're a smaller boutique situation. We highly specialize. But you got to make sure, like you're saying, Kara and Faith, they've been trained with me. They know what I want. We're on the same page. We know what we want to do. A lot of times you'll go to a Henry Ford doctor, then you got to show up at a Henry Ford therapy clinic, and those two people never talk. There's no protocols. There's nothing in place, and you may or may not get the same therapist. So they're starting over. You got to ask questions. You're only getting so many visits, and if you blow out the first 5-6 visits and you only got 12 a year, you're screwed.
No doubt about it.
All right, enough of that soapbox. But the thing I did want to finish is that the purity of the game, I forget the guy's name who's going to Michigan. It's getting paid like $10 million.
Oh, Bryce Underwood.
I mean, that means when you're a parent of a 10-year-old, the pressure starts then. Who you train with, how are you training, who's cross-training you, what doctors are you seeing? They're all becoming important at that age. When I was writing for Hockey Weekly and the Troy Sports Center and all that.
You were writing for Hockey Weekly?
I wrote for Hockey. I was the original medical insider there.
Flex on them, Doc.
I didn't just walk into this position. I've been training for years. I had a stent on 97.1 too.
I didn't know that was hockey your love?
My goal when I came out of my residency was to do my charity, which we won a national championship in my first year, and to be on the Stanley Cup team, to be a part of the Red Wings. So, I got in with Little Caesars. This is history, JP here, I guess. When I met a guy named Chris Corey who ran all of the hockey for Little Caesars back in the day, and their home ice was Joe Louis.
Yeah.
So I got to be the doc. I went and actually took skating lessons because the first time I went out to skate, the guys knocked me over. They thought it was fun to knock me over.
Of course.
So I got a stick in my hand, took lessons, and they weren't knocking me over anymore.
Nice.
But I did the whole Stevie Eisenman. I scored on. I mean, it was phenomenal. But yeah, so back in the day, we were the purity of the game. I want purity of the game. Why are these kids doing it? You know, that's what's most important. And now I think it's really going to be tainted. Other than, like Braylon said, maybe crew is the only pure sport that they're going to go into for the sport of it. But it's a lot of pressure on kids. When we started talking about mental pressure, you know, big shout out to Will Horkoff, who's going to be in the NHL draft. I don't know if we've publicized it, but he broke a record for the NHL Combine for a long jump. He's been with my family. He's best friends with Alec, my son. And, you know.
You were a billet family for him?
Huh?
Were you a billet family for him?
No, not for Will. His dad, Sean Horkoff, for the Red Wings.
Yes.
16-year career. No, he's a pedigree, and he's following through with it. So I talk to a lot of these athletes. I don't even know if this is interesting to anybody, but when we talk to a lot of the alumni athletes, and they have children that are under that pressure to perform, it's very hard to create a successful next generation child, you know, because they don't have necessarily that grit. You know, like Gervin tells the story very well. You know, all of them do. So it's, I'll change subjects now.
Kool-aid, you weren't here last week when we had George Gervin and Joe Johnson in studio, thanks to Doc. And that was an absolute pleasure. And I was telling George, I was telling Ice that the Pacers are going to be in this series. And they play Game 6 tonight, Doc. Can the Pacers take this to Game 7 for the ABA?
No, because their main guy's hurt. You're talking about a silly
how
calf.
can you play? How can Halliburton play? What can he do? What can he further damage by playing with the quad injury that he has?
Quad or calf?
Calf, excuse me.
Calf injury.
Which can go into an Achilles, right?
The calf is part of the Achilles. If you're weakening, you change. Is the Achilles at risk? No, technically no. You know, it doesn't, like I heard that. Well, is he at risk of tearing his Achilles and being out for a year? No, I mean, the doctors are going to understand what's going on from that aspect. When we talk about the calf, it's the big calf muscles, the gastrocs. Okay, those are big muscles. He could have a partial tear in the strain of the muscle. You'll probably see him with a wrap on. He'll probably get a little secret sauce before. They should be keeping him warm on the sidelines to keep that going. Will he have the same push-off? Will he change? He needs to be an asset as a deliverer. You know, they need to deliver the ball. He may not be the scorer, but he's got to be a distraction and a person that delivers. And the rest of the team needs to step up. You know, like I saw the analogy today on ESPN that what's his face? The eyebrow.
The brow.
From the Lakers.
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. When he went out, the whole team just deflated because we're in the finals and we lost our main guy. There's a mental picture that they have to overcome. And these are professional guys getting paid. You better overcome. You better step up. That's what I'm saying. You know it going in. I mean, he got hurt in the first few minutes. These guys know they're down a man. Yep. And they need to do next man up, and these are professionals.
Maybe George and Joe can do one for the ABA and go join them tonight in Indianapolis.
Yeah, but both of you guys picked OKC to win Game 3, right?
Yeah, we did.
And
but I told George on the slide that I thought the Pacers had a chance to get in this series. Everyone was on OKC. They're a huge, heavy favorite in this series. But you know what? We'll see. Hang in there, Doc. Got a quick break, and we're going to talk a little hockey with you as well.
All right.
A little NHL, a little Stanley Cup. We're going to back to hockey. But first, I want to tell you about Venn Johnson Law. It's justice. It means different things to different people. But whether it's a settlement or a verdict, justice is always worth the fight. If you got a case, contact the fighters at Venn Johnson Law and do it today. Get the justice you deserve. Tough, tenacious, trial lawyers. It's Venn Johnson Law.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball's gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
They love putting QR codes above my head, so if you already scanned your Caesars QR code, you might as well scan this QR code. It'll take you to Feldman Chevrolet, which is Michigan's numero uno Chevy dealer with 5 locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing. And this month's specials include a 2025 Silverado 1500 Crew. You can lease that for just $149 per month, or how about the 2026? Yes, the 2026 Equinox LT. Lease that for just $209 a month. Scan the QR code above my head. Pay a visit to Feldman Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Woodward Sports. We got Dr. Jeff Pierce, Michigan Sports and Spine, as this Dodge Ram is now going up on the sidewalk here,
right
by our studios, just inches away from Ricky's booth.
Oh my God!
We might have some injuries for Doc to take a look at here in just a couple of minutes. Tigers up 9-2. Tigers up 9-2 in the 7th.
If you had a window in your booth, you could probably reach out.
I got you. Don't worry, I'll take care of it,
bro. He's going out to take a look.
No joke. The car is.
I'm telling you.
There you go.
He didn't pick up on
the back end of it.
He thinks he's got a Jeep. Anyway, back to the show.
We're not easily
Dr.
distracted
Jeff Pierce,
here.
Michigan Sports and Spine. Before I talk to you about Brady Tkachuk and his injury, my man Kool-Aid's got something for you on the Lions.
Yes, definitely. Brad Holmes, he's definitely been stubborn as it relates to his belief in this defensive line, the way they've been built up. There's a lot of fans, though, who are looking at this defensive line as a reclamation
Lions
project.
fans.
People coming back from injuries. And one of those people clearly in the crosshairs is Marcus Davenport, but Brad Holmes has continued to give his vote of confidence that he believes what happened to Davenport last year was luck, and that how he, among others, like Aiden Hutchinson coming back from injury, that they've looked strong and that their bodies look ready for the season ahead. And I just wanted to be able to get your take on Davenport, among some of the other guys, but Davenport in particular, and the confidence that Lions fans can have in he and what the medical staff is saying.
You know, there's 2 ways to look at this, and I've always pushed. I'm a positive person, right? It's always glass half full. And I've always said there's a learning curve, and I've used JMO as a classic example. You know, here's a kid that was injured with his ACL. He took a little longer. You're going to watch Hutchinson return. You're going to watch Davenport return. There's a learning curve of a dedicated player. And hopefully what he's really pushing is he's seeing dedication from the player. Is he at risk of re-injury? Yes. If you listen to my lectures and you listen to me talk, your number one risk factor for an injury is a previous injury. So obviously we have that. But you now have a medical staff and you have an awareness of a more mature player that knows his livelihood's on the line. There's a lot from a personal level for these guys to be successful, right? They have a lot of motivation. They have support of their immediate families, extended family. Yeah. That's how they make a living. So their dedication is what Brad Holmes is hopefully talking about. When they say, yeah, his body looked good, he's ripped, he's got an 8-pack, that's not really what he's talking about. It's how he's moving, how he's dedicated, how he's working with the staff. And you got to know Brad Holmes is in the ear of every trainer that they're working with, because they have a big training staff, and it's not just one trainer like back in the day. It's a team of trainers, and certain guys gravitate to others. It's like bartenders. Everybody opens up to a certain bartender they trust. That's who your trainer is. Your trainer is your local bartender, where you express a lot of different feelings. And Brad Holmes hopefully is saying that's his insight. So to save from recovery, medicine today You can recover from every one of these injuries that we've talked about, every one that's there. There's a good recovery. There's over-recovery. There's being more prepared because you had an injury. There's more worried about function. Like you look at Hutchinson, I said he's going to be a more efficient player because he has to be more efficient. He had a breakdown with his leg injury.
Yeah.
It had to be broken down to he couldn't walk on it. You're talking about getting to the physiology of it, the activity of it. There's a firing pattern. There's a natural firing pattern for you to pick your nose. Okay? When you're picking your nose, there's certain things that have to happen. I'm picking something disgusting, but the point is, it's a lot of movement. Like for you to make a circle, like when I evaluate patients or grip strength, like especially with stroke patients, you had to make a circle. For all of us to make a circle right now, a lot of stuff has to happen from your small intrinsic muscles to your brain activity, right? So now you're talking about Hutchinson, you're talking about repair. Everything doesn't just, it went off and now we turn it back on. No, there's a lot of retraining. There's there's a lot of fancy words we can use right now. But yeah, I think Brad Holmes is referring more to, I have dedicated players that want to be out there. Because he knows, he's more trained. We can act so smart, but he's the smart guy in the room. He doesn't want to look stupid. He doesn't want to let the fans down. This guy is for Detroit. I don't think he has no buy-in other than to have a team that he can support to be out there to be the best players that he can get. So that was a long answer. I'm sorry.
I hope you're right, Doc. I hope everything works out.
I work to be right. What do you mean?
Brad is giving his vote of confidence in Davenport as the others coming back from injuries. And I know there's some fans who I'm hoping they feel more confident in what the defensive line will be, especially those edge rushers, after hearing what you're saying.
I think we have backup plans because we didn't have any knowledge of all those injuries last year, and we came through with backup plans. I'm more worried about the coaches. Yeah. I'm more worried about losing the coaches than I am about Davenport.
Well, we all are. We all are. You know, we don't start the season. We don't start the season with 15 wins. We start at 0-0. So we have our fingers crossed. We got about 2 minutes left, Doc, and I wanted to bring up the Panthers and how they knocked off the Oilers, but they do it. Hockey, it always happens in the Stanley Cup final. You have these players. They had Alexander Barkov, their captain, who had about 12 stitches across his hand, and he played. He played. And then you have Brady Tkachuk. Listen to this injury, guys.
Do you think the average fan has any idea what you went through, and what did you go through?
I tore my adductor off the bone, and then had some hernia thing, and all on the same side, and wanted to throw in the towel a bunch of times. I'm sure I got to thank a lot of people, for getting me healthy enough. I'm sure I wasn't the easiest to deal with. My fiance did a great job in the house on days where I probably wasn't in the best mood.
He teared his abductor off the bone. First of all, what the hell is an abductor?
Adductor. Adductor means you're adding in. It's the muscle that goes into your groin up to your privates. So these are the muscles that you see. So that's your big bone from your hip down to your knee.
Oh, my God.
Right? So that's the femur. So adductor is what brings that leg in. So for a skater, you know how powerful these muscles and necessary they are. And then he talks about a partial hernia. So now his whole abdomen, groin area is weakened. So he is without probably one of the muscle strands. Jeez. I actually tore this in softball. It was so painful. It blew up. And he even admits, I think in the interview, that I thank everybody now for putting up with me and my medical staff, which I love the shout out for medical staff that doesn't always get recognized. But look how powerful these muscles are. You can imagine in a skater how large this muscle is, and it's torn off the bone. Jeez. So that's where you worry the most. When you hear torn off the bone, it's more of a problem. Actually, in some ways, it can be less painful because it's completely gone.
Yeah.
So and then it retracts like a little recoil.
God.
So you're talking about missing that. And if you watch him skate, you can probably see a different side to side that he's favored it. But his mental capacity and secret sauce probably put him over the top.
He OD'd on special sauce.
That's it.
He OD'd. He most likely did.
It's ripped from the bone.
Yeah.
How much up in your groin?
How long does it take to recover now?
He's got to have surgery.
I don't even want to hear that.
Classically, I didn't have surgery because I had less Usually we go 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So if it's 1/3, we usually don't worry about it. If it's 2/3, it's definite. If it's complete, then we have to reattach it.
Oh, man.
So what you're talking about is a portion of. So don't get too excited. There's a lot of AD doctors.
Yeah.
This is a portion of the AD doctor. It's not the whole muscle.
Thankfully.
So it's a portion. And what will happen if that muscle, if he doesn't have surgery, the rest of the muscles will thicken, but it'll always have a deficit of that side.
Well, God bless hockey players, especially the Kachucks.
By the way, my
Love
son,
those
Alec,
guys.
was the one who pulled that video for us.
Thank you, Alec.
Dad, this would be cool for you to
Not
talk
only
about.
a star lacrosse guy, but he can do video as well. He's always got a gig here at Woodward Sports Stop.
I'm trying to appeal to the younger crowd.
You're doing it. You're doing it. Hey, for Dr. Pierce, for Pete, for Ricky, for Braylon, who's going to have a great weekend golfing. Kool-aid, thanks so much for coming in today, man.
This was my honor, bro.
You're welcome back tomorrow, by the way. It'll be me and Ryan tomorrow. We'll chat. We'll chat. I'm Maz. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Thursday. And the heavyweights are coming up next. Don't forget, Michigan Sports and Spine. That's your place to get healthy.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers, baby.
Tigers.